I'm Phil, so this must be Fantasy Author's Handbook. We're going to talk about today book number 6 out of 100 of the 100 book challenge. That's right, I'm 6% of the way to being able to buy a new book. Oh my God. If you already saw the last video, which I'm sure you did because you watch all the videos because you're subscribed. I finished up Commandy and switched over to Druuna. I have the whole series. I've read the first one. This is number 2, and I have finished reading this. These are short. These are not, it's not a lot of reading. It's fantastic. Let's talk about Druuna number 2. Unfairly tagged with the unsavory and reductive nickname Master of the Ass, Paolo Eleutheri Serpieri is an accomplished, creative, and both visually and narratively groundbreaking artist. It's true enough that his most celebrated work was the Druuna series, which did include graphic sex, nudity, and a beautiful young female heroine. But the experience of falling into Druuna's grim, violent, but still somehow beautifully realized world goes way beyond the body parts. The fact that he studied both painting and architecture at the Fine Arts Academy in Rome is evident in Serpieri's fully realized, if occasionally Escher-esque, cityscapes. He certainly seems to know not just how to design a building, but what that building would look like once it started to fall apart, to decay and collapse from neglect. He started his comics career with westerns for Lancia story in Italy, but broke through with Morbus Gravis, the first Druuna story, published in an English translated version in Heavy Metal here in the States in the summer 1986 issue. That was volume 10, number 2. If you weren't there, it's difficult to describe the impact of Heavy Metal magazine on the comics world when it emerged in America from its French predecessor, Metal Hurlant, Howling Metal, in April of 1977. This wasn't the adolescent sex comedy of the underground comics of the day. This was serious, and also sometimes comical, science fiction and fantasy that attracted enormously talented artists like Moebius, Richard Corbin, H.R. Giger, and Serpieri himself. Serpieri's often difficult and occasionally confrontational body of work combines elements of science fiction, body horror, erotica, and, believe it or not, romance. Though out-of-context panels would certainly indicate otherwise, Druuna doesn't lead with her body, but with her heart. She appears in a decadent, savage, and overwhelmingly terrifying world as a beacon of humanity, and again, not just physically, but emotionally. She is in many ways an innocent but also a fully realized woman who doesn't always succeed in safely navigating the cruel and monstrous world she lives in, but always tries. She is not a damsel in distress, a princess to be rescued then possessed. If anything, Druuna is the exact opposite. The first 3 stories, at least, feature Druuna working to rescue and redeem 2 men who are important to her. She's not a victim to be rescued, but a heroine determined to rescue a male victim. Through the Druuna stories, Serpieri's art flashes with violence and erotica, but is just as vibrant in the small, quiet moments that punctuate and elevate the stories. The world is rendered in exhaustive detail. The coloring is subtle, and we see this hellscape world in what could almost be described as pastel colors. Is it beautifully grotesque or grotesquely beautiful? So that has been Druuna number 2. What's next? Is that the most important question? That's the question for now, right? Well, what's next? I said that I'm reading in my reading scheme comic books and graphic novels. I'm also including that, widening that definition out to include the various and sundry art books that I have. Yeah. For instance, this one, which is the next read, actually already started yesterday. This is Hardware, the definitive. That's hard to say. The definitive SF works of Chris Foss. I mean, that's just the master of spaceship art. Oh my dear goodness. You have to know what I'm talking about, yeah? I mean, here's a little preview of what's in store. Chris Faust is one of the greatest of all time. And, definitely kind of clearing my head from the intensity of Druuna. This is also something that if that's a little bit too much for you, this is all rocket ships. So just, it's okay. It's just rocket ships. But the best rocket ships of all time. This has been Phil. This has been Fantasy Author's Handbook. This was book 6 out of 100. What will be 7? Probably not this one. I've got some other books. I've got, 7 other books that I'm reading. Probably finish up one of those before this. Who knows? You don't know. That's why you keep coming back. And that's why you like, comment, and most of all, subscribe. Most of all? I don't know. Do whatever you want. It's free to do anything and everything around the Fantasy Author's Handbook universe. There are links below to the whole thing, the Goodreads group, Blue Sky, the blog, which is important if you're a writer at all. I don't know. The world of Fantasy Author's Handbook awaits. I will see you soon, as soon as possible, with at least the next book in the 100 book challenge. Oof, the 100 book